OpenAI made a prototype artificial intelligence chatbot called Chat-GPT designed to have conversations. The chatbot is a significant language model that has been improved with the help of supervised learning and reinforcement learning. It is an updated version of OpenAI's GPT 3.5 language model family. How the Chat-GPT works? With 175 billion parameters, it is one of the most complex and powerful AI models for language processing. It has often been used so far to make Chat-GPT a perfect chatbot. We asked the GPT-3 chatbot to write its description, which you can see above, to give you a small taste of what it can do at its most basic level. How does Chat-GPT learn? It can answer open-ended questions and was taught to do so using algorithms for machine learning. It can understand orders and also speak the language. The bot keeps improving as it learns from the people who talk to it. Have you got Chat-GPT? In 2019, Microsoft put $1 billion into a company called OpenAI LP. OpenAI is based in the Pioneer Building in San Francisco's Mission District. This computer program can answer questions and write programs, articles, and poems. But put only a little stock in it. Tell me about Chat-GPT. In November, OpenAI released Chat-GPT, an AI chatbot system, to show and test what a very large and powerful AI system could do. You can ask it anything, and most of the time, it will answer helpfully. In an encyclopedia question, ask it to explain Newton's laws of motion. You can ask it to write you a poem and then tell it to make it more fun. You tell it to make a computer program that shows all the possible ways words can be put together. The problem is that Chat-GPT doesn't know much. It is an artificial intelligence that has been taught to find patterns in many texts on the internet. It has also been trained with the help of people to give more help and better dialogue. OpenAI warns that the answers you get might seem reasonable and even authoritative, but they might also be wrong. Chatbots have been of interest to businesses that want to better serve their customers and AI researchers who have wanted to pass the Turing test for a long time. Can a person tell the difference between chatting with a person and a machine? Alan Turing, a computer scientist, came up with the famous imitation game in 1950 as a way to test how smart someone is. But chatbots have a lot of baggage because companies have tried to use them with varying degrees of success instead of people to help customers. In a survey of 1,700 Americans done by the startup UJet, whose technology manages customer contacts, 72% of the people who answered said chatbots were a waste of time. What kinds of questions can be asked? You can ask anything you want, but you might not get an answer. OpenAI suggests a few categories, such as explaining physics, looking for birthday party ideas, and getting help with programming. I asked it to write the poem, but I don't think any literary experts would be impressed. Chat-GPT used words like battlefield, adrenaline, thunder, and adventure when I told it to make it more exciting. In order to make a folk song about building a Rust program and struggling with lifetime errors is an absurd example of how Chat-GPT is willing to just go for it in places where most people would be afraid to go. Chat-GPT is interesting because of how much it knows and how well it can keep up with a conversation. It gave me a few options when I asked for words that rhymed with purple. It didn't miss a beat when I added, how about with pink? The word pink rhymes with many other great words. I asked, is it easier to get a date if you're mean or if you're nice? In response, GPT said, some people might be attracted to someone aggressive and assertive, but others might find someone who is sensitive more attractive. Trying to fit into a certain mold or persona is probably less likely to help you get a date than being honest and real with other people. People have said that the bot blew their minds more than once, so you won't have to look far. On Twitter, many people are showing off how good AI is at coming up with creative ideas and writing code. Some people have even said that Google and the college essay are going the way of the dinosaurs. There's more about that further down. David Lum of CNET put together a list of some useful ways to use Chat-GPT, but new ones keep coming up. One doctor said he had used it to get a patient's health insurance company to pay for a procedure. Who put together Chat-GPT? Chat-GPT was made by OpenAI, a startup that researches artificial intelligence. Its goal is to create a safe and useful, general artificial intelligence system or help others do so. It has already made headlines with GPT-3, which can make a language that sounds like a person wrote it. DALL-E, which can make what is now called generative art, based on the text prompts you to type in. The GPT-3 and GPT 3.5 updates are two examples of big language models, which are a type of AI technology. ChatGPT is based on these updates. They can be taught automatically to write text based on what they have seen, usually over a long period and with much computer power. For example, the training process might pick a random section of the text, take out a few words, ask the AI to fill in the blanks, compare the result to the original, and then praise the AI for getting as close as possible. When you do something repeatedly, you can get better at making text. Is ChatGPT free? At least right now, yes. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, said on Sunday that the costs of computing are so high that we will have to find a way to sell it at some point. OpenAI starts charging for DALL-E art after you have used it for free as much as you can. But OpenAI seems to have some customers who are probably using their GPT tools. Investors are given information. Reuters says that OpenAI expects to make $200 million in 2023 and $1 billion in 2024. What are the limits of ChatGPT? OpenAI points out that ChatGPT can give wrong information. It will sometimes tell you directly about its flaws, which can be helpful. When I asked who came up with the phrase, "the wriggling facts overwhelm the squamous mind," ChatGPT said, "I'm sorry, but I can't go to the internet or get any other information besides what I was taught." The line is from Wallace Stevens' 1942 poem Connoisseur of Chaos. But when I said that phrase out loud, ChatGPT was willing to try to explain it as a situation in which the facts or information at hand are hard to digest or understand. This interpretation was given between the warnings that it's hard to tell without more information and that there are other possible explanations. The answers that ChatGPT gives may look right, but they may not be. Mike Krause, who is in charge of data science at another AI startup called Beyond Limits, says, if you ask it a really well-structured question to get the right answer, you'll probably get the right answer. It will be clear and sound like something a Harvard professor wrote. But if you throw it a curveball, you'll get nothing but nonsense. On Stack Overflow, answers to programming questions from ChatGPT have been taken off the site. The site's administrators warned that putting out responses from ChatGPT is very bad for the site and for users who want or need correct answers, since the average rate of getting correct answers through ChatGPT is very low. You can ask the same question more than once to see how good ChatGPT is at making up lies. When I asked twice if Moore's law, which shows how the number of data processing transistors in computer chips has grown over time, is about to run out of steam, I got two different answers. One said that progress would continue, while the other said, Moore's law may be reaching its limits, which sounded like bad news. Since most people in the computer industry agree with both ideas, this ambivalent stance may reflect what professionals in that field think. ChatGPT will often be hard to pin down for other questions that have answers that aren't clear. But the fact that it solves the problem is a big step forward in computer science. Computers are notoriously literal and won't work unless you follow strict rules about how to use the interface and write code. Large language models show a friendlier way of talking and the ability to give answers between copying and coming up with something new. Will ChatGPT make it easier for students to cheat? Yes, but it's not as simple as black and white, just like many other technological advances. Students used to be able to copy encyclopedia entries, but now they can use the internet and Wikipedia entries instead. All kinds of new features have been added to ChatGPT, from help with research to full-service assignment help. Many ChatGPT answers are already like student essays. However, they are often written more formally and academically than a writer might want. Daniel Herman, who teaches high school, has decided that ChatGPT already writes better than most students. He has trouble choosing between seeing how useful ChatGPT could be and worrying about how it might hurt people's learning abilities. Is this more like the invention of the calculator, which freed me from the monotony of long division, or the player piano, which stopped us from communicating in ways that can only be done through human emotion? Dustin York, an associate professor of communication at Maryville University, says that ChatGPT can be used as a tool to help students think critically. Educators thought that Google, Wikipedia, and the internet would destroy education, but they didn't, says York. I am especially worried about educators who may work on purpose to stop using ChatGPT and other forms of AI. It's a tool, not a bad guy. Can ChatGPT write programs for computers? Yes, but there are some rules. ChatGPT can not only make real programming code, but it can also keep track of the stages that people have gone through. Just make sure it's not because of wrong programming or bad software. There is a good reason why software made by ChatGPT is not allowed on Stack Overflow. But ChatGPT can work because there is enough software available online. Eric Schluntz, the chief technology officer at Cobalt Robotics, said in a tweet that Chat-Egypt's advice is so helpful that he hasn't asked for help on Stack Overflow in 3 days. Gabe Ragland of the AI art platform Lexica also used ChatGPT. He wrote website code for the React tool. ChatGPT can parse regular expressions, regex, a powerful but hard way to find patterns like dates in a text group or the name of a server in a URL address. Programmer James Blackwell tweeted about Chat-Egypt's ability to explain regex. It's like having a programming tutor on call 24/7. Here's a great example of how advanced its technology is. ChatGPT can give accurate responses to command line input because it acts like a Linux computer. What can't you do? ChatGPT is set up to filter out inappropriate questions so that artificial general intelligence can help all people. ChatGPT says that offensive, discriminatory, or just plain wrong questions are not allowed. This includes questions that are homophobic, transphobic, sexist, or otherwise mean or discriminatory. Another thing you shouldn't do is ask it to do something illegal. Does this search engine work better than Google? It can be helpful to ask a computer a question and get an answer, which ChatGPT often does. Google often gives you links to websites it thinks will be useful and suggestions for answers to your questions. It's easy to think of GPT-3 as a competitor because ChatGPT often gives much better answers than Google suggests. But think twice before putting your trust in ChatGPT. Before relying on the information, it's a good idea to check it with reliable sources, just like you can do with Google and other information sources like Wikipedia. ChatGPT only gives you plain text with no links or sources, so you have to work to ensure the answers are correct. But it can sometimes be helpful and even make you think. Even though ChatGPT may not be easy to find in Google search results, Google has already done a lot with AI and built its huge language models. So, it's clear that ChatGPT is paving the way for the future of technology.